Yeah, guys, that was the Ravens. I mean, what are we doing? You give up 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, and then you're like, nah, we're good. Yeah, it's his knee. It's his knee. His knee's messed up. And then they're like, oh, Troy Hendrickson. Yeah, we want him. We destroyed his defense for the past, 5 years, but he's pretty good. He wrecked us a couple of times. Let's pick him up. We'll get into that, guys, a lot more as well. Let's react to what's gone so far in free agency, and we got a good amount to get into. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys are ready for this prolonged free agency reaction video. Again, I was trying to get this out to you guys on Monday. That was not going to happen due to some logistical things. Past few days, I've been hella busy, so that's why it's here on Thursday. Still a lot of stuff that just came out today. I'm going to try to get you guys all up right here. We got the NFL Twitter feed up. We're about ready to react to this thing. Again, if I went through every single exact transaction, I mean, one, you guys wouldn't care. And second, again, it would be an absolute movie. So we're going to try to go rapid fire with these. And obviously, again, I'll give you guys my reactions to what I think happened with all these. First things first, free agency started March 9th, technically. So, I mean, again, it's March 12th here. So, we got, again, a good 4 days here of free agency. But with that said, we will start here on March 7th with Khalil Mack's 1-year, $18 million deal back to the Chargers. Khalil Mack's a guy at this point in his career who's not really going to give you true starting pass rushing production. But, again, at the same time, he's a guy, again, that still gives you one of the better power rushing blends. Again, for his age, and, you know, everyone thought, some people thought he was going to retire, so it's kind of cool that he's going to be back for another year. Probably his last year, but he's a guy who, again, Defensive Player of the Year, Hall of Famer, who really knows, but he's been one of the best pass rushers over the past, let's say 10 plus years. Alright, Jesus, Tom Pelissero. I think Adam Schefter reported this first, doesn't matter. Obviously, James Conner didn't really play at all last year. He stunk when he did play. He's going to be back with the Cardinals next year. I like that. Again, some continuity in a running back field that was absolutely atrocious last year, especially when we get to the Chiefs developments. This could definitely, in terms of my mock draft, changing for Saturday, which will be coming out on Saturday. I guarantee you guys that. He could be, that could definitely be something that the Cardinals go for. Jeremiah Love, we'll see. I'll get you guys that mock draft on Saturday. Again, if you didn't watch the pre-agency mock draft, that's definitely something to go check out as well. And obviously, then we'll get to some prospect rankings. Anyways, though, March Madness is obviously around again. All this stuff, crazy stuff going on. All right, Rams. If you didn't know, they did trade a first-round pick and a bunch of other stuff for Trent McDuffie, who's now their number 1 corner. I'll tell you, this is the only Chiefs they signed, but they got McDuffie on a massive deal, 4 years, 124. Got like 80 million guarantees, something like that. 31 per year. Again, highest paid corner in the football or ever. He's one of the best cornerbacks in football. The Rams needed a guy there. I mean, I would have rather have them just done this in free agency, but I mean, hey, do your thing. Alec Ingold, again, one of the better fullbacks in football. He's going over to the Chargers after being with the Dolphins for a year or two, or like 3 or 4 years. But still, he's a great run blocker, very solid guy to have on your team. Teron Johnson going to the Bills. I don't really know what was that package looking like. He's fallen off. He's been at one of the better cornerbacks. Okay, so 6th round pick and 7th round. Okay, yeah, he's not as good. Again, the contract. He's older now. Last year wasn't his best year. I'm just gonna say that right there. He's still one of the more valuable slots in football for sure, though. Eric Wilson back to the Vikings on a 3-year, $22.5 million deal. Wait, what the heck? What team was he on last year? I'm actually brain farting. What do we got? Come on. Packers. I'm actually a brick. He was, yeah, okay. Holy crap. There we go. Yeah, he was with the Vikings for a while. Yeah, I was thinking of Darren Wilson. But anyway, yeah. He was with the Vikings. What am I talking about? He's been around the block. We'll just say that. He's, again, in my opinion, one of the better depth linebackers in football as a starter. You know, he's really bad in coverage and he doesn't tackle great. But still, again, solid quality linebacker. I don't really love this deal for him. He's also not like the youngest dude in the world, but I mean, I guess they can work with that. He was good for them last year. Tua got cut. This was, again, really right before free agency started. This was a big trade. Jets got someone who's, again, pseudo ball hawk from the Dolphins, obviously. Minka last year, again, late offseason trade there with the Steelers. Going from there back to Miami. He had a decent year overall. He struggled with some injuries. Going over to the Jets, that'll be an interesting move there. The Jets really haven't had a legitimate, star safety since, honestly, probably Jamal Adams. I mean, they had a couple good years there with Marcus May, but Again, I think Minka's probably the best safety they've had since Jamal Adams. It'll just be interesting to see how he can actually, again, he's older. He's no longer, again, really thought of as a guy who can be a true difference maker, but he's, again, like I said, the best safety they'll probably have in a while. 7th round pick makes sense. Again, he's not a huge acquisition there. Rashawn Gary to the Packers. I mean, it's a trade, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. What is that package looking like? He's a guy that I think in some ways can be a #1 guy. 4th round pick. Yeah, that makes sense. Next year. Rashawn Gary, in my opinion, is a guy that makes up as a guy who has a 2 or 3 move skill set on top of the fact that he's a solid run defender. It's just the fact that he hasn't really been consistent enough throughout his career and just in terms of production as well as on tape to really warrant as, again, a true #1 guy. But he does give you guys, again, at least consistent production overall. But as a #1 guy, you know, again, back with that same trade. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't even know what's going on there. Sheldon Rankins, 2-year contract to the Texans. I don't really care. I mean, he's a good run defender. Boring moves for a really good defense. That's what we got to do to stay good. Yeah, Travis Kelce back to the Chiefs. I'm not too surprised there. I like the moves they've been making. The Chiefs have done a really good job. We'll get into that again. We look at their offseason breakdown, their draft recap again in a couple months, or really in a month now. But still, good move for the Chiefs, obviously getting him back. Alec Pierce back to the Colts in a way overpaid contract of 4 years, $114. They did get rid of Michael Pittman. I'm going to spoil that right now. So. Pretty interesting move there. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get a little bit more depth there, but again, they had to get Alec Pierce back. I don't really love this contract, to be honest with you guys, because at this point his career is a little bit less well-rounded than a lot of people want to give him credit for. But in terms of his open rating, I don't like using that stat, but I had to use it here. As well as just watching him on tape, he got open way better than he did the rest of his career. It's just the fact that he's not a guy that I don't really see as a true #1 receiver. But at the same time, he's a bombshell waiting to go off. Those are guys you're going to have to pay up for. Lamed Skias going back to the Falcons. Not really too surprising there. He's been around the block as well. He's super fast. Draymond Jones to the Patriots. He's a solid defensive tackle. He obviously has had this time with the Broncos, Ravens, and the Seahawks. There we go. No, what the heck am I talking about? Broncos and Ravens, and he's obviously done a really good job as a pass rusher for them. He's a guy that I think will be definitely a good tandem guy with Milton Williams. Obviously, with Christian Barmore having his struggles last year. Eric Stokes back to the Raiders. He was their #1 corner really the past 2 seasons. Yeah, again, he definitely has his issues, but Eric Stokes is definitely a guy that I think last year, in a lot of ways, had overall, again, really a revival of his career. Again, he was an absolute bust with the Packers. He had a pretty exciting rookie season. He got injured in 2022. He was woeful when he did play in 2023. Then 2024, he was more of the same. Last year, though, as the Raiders' #1 corner, he did a pretty good job overall. Again, I don't really think he's a true guy like that, but he proved himself last year. Got himself a nice contract. Now, yeah, this is probably one of the biggest moves. Again, Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker. Again, a lot of talk about if he's going to be, again, no franchise tag by the Seahawks. The Chiefs decided to sign him. I think it was a pretty decent contract. Kenneth Walker contract, Chiefs. What are we looking at? Yeah. 45, that's some decent money. 28.7. But guys, look at this Chiefs team. Kenneth Walker's guy. I don't really think you can truly depend on him as, again, like a top 10 running back sort of thing. Again, talent-wise, he's probably there. But again, you saw him in the Super Bowl. They're really just looking for a guy that's going to give them a spark. He will be that guy. This Chiefs team, I could definitely see where they're going to be trying to go with this. They needed a guy to get be explosive, be a guy there. He definitely has the potential to do that. But really, you look at him, I don't think he's a true, again, like elite running back or anything like even close to that range. But again, you saw the potential in the Super Bowl. It's just, again, really the narrative with him is he really going to be that guy for them? I think he'd definitely be that. He's certainly the best running back they've had since Kareem Hunt. Cade Otton back to the Bucks. I honestly don't care about that. He's a solid tight end. He was pretty bad last year, but I mean, you've seen what he can do in the past. Yeah, same thing. All right, yeah, this is another big trade signing. Rams get Jalen Watson, who's a little bit of a pseudo slot. He'll obviously be playing a lot more zone out there for the Rams, but yeah, 3-year, $51 million contract, $34 million guaranteed. I'm not like implored by this signing or anything like that. Again, in terms of where they're going, but at the same time, this is a big time move for them. Rams really just reshaping the secondary. I would really want Kobe Durant back because he's a guy that I really think in a lot of situations you'd want to have him paired with Jalen Watson. But in terms of getting these two Chiefs corners, the Rams upgraded their secondary, and that's the biggest need of their team, to be honest with you guys. This is probably the biggest contract of the entire reaction here. We had Jalen Phillips going to the Panthers on a 4-year, $120 million contract. Big bucks for a big-time player. I'm not going to say that Jalen Phillips has ever really proven himself as a true, like, top 15, top 10 edge rusher on a consistent full season. But if we're talking talent, just straight-up capability and skill, in terms of just an overall makeup as a pass rusher, he's right there. As a run defender, you're only going to get so much out of him in terms of his injury history and all that. You don't want to be putting in those situations. But we're talking about a guy that can get consistent pressure for you. There was really no other guy outside of probably Trey Hendrickson in this year's free agency class that would give you anything close to these two guys. So you're going to pay a premium for a guy that's going to give you that level of pass rush. It's just a question of, is it really going to be worth it in its entirety? Because I still don't think this defense needed exactly this. But, again, you wanted a dude, you got one. Michael Pittman to the Steelers. I don't think this was anything like major in terms of the actual compensation. He's a guy, guys, he's going to get open. He's going to give you guys consistent production. Is he really the greatest guy to go with DK Metcalf? Probably not, but he's going to give them a little bit more stability than they've really had in receiver for who knows how long. Probably since before AB started, CTEing themselves. Anyway, though, Malik Willis, 3 years, $67.5, $45 million guaranteed to the Dolphins. I'm already going to tell you guys, I think the Dolphins are going to be a really mid-team next year, like 7-10, 6-11. Malik Willis will have a decent year, but Jeff Hadley just screams that. I like the move because, again, you get the continuity with the DC and the quarterback here. But, guys, I'm not the biggest fan of Malik Willis. He obviously hasn't really got a true chance to start just yet, but this just definitely seems like a Dolphins team that's, again, heading right towards mediocrity next year. I'm just telling that right now. That's probably one of the worst places to be. But still, they got their quarterback for next year. We'll see what, again, ends up happening there. Isaiah Likely, 3-year, $40 million deal for the Giants. This is a monster move for the Giants. Again, very underrated. Again, in terms of, like, the actual overall scheme of this, no one really cares. But Isaiah Likely's just a guy. He's going to get things done. I mean, there's really no other way for me to put it. I think last year he was a little bit underwhelming, but 2023, 2024, even 2022, he was a downright awesome or really fun guy to watch. Again, as a backup tight end for the Ravens. But like I said, fell out of favor a little bit last year for them. But again, the Giants have really struggled with tight ends in terms of either consistency, Darren Waller staying on the field, or anyone playing at that position with a pulse ever since Evan Ingram really left. But even then, Evan Ingram had his inconsistencies. They haven't had a good tight end in a really long time. I think that's what Isaiah Likely is going to bring to them. A little concerning, though. Demario Davis, the UNC final boss, 2 years, $22 million to go to the Jets. Jets-wise, great signing. They haven't really, again, I like Quincy Williams a lot, but they actually needed a guy who's going to be kind of like a leader for this defense. I wasn't thinking he was going back to the Saints either. This is definitely a move for the Jets that I think will be, again, good returns, but also he's like 37, guys. What are you going to expect? Last year, a little bit down in terms of his actual play, but still, he's a solid guy to have. Just really overall, low risk, high reward signing there. Mitch Trubisky to be the Titans' backup. He's a decent backup, I guess, probably around middle of the pack there. Not really too much else to say there. Again, he's moving around the league, but again, you got someone for Cam Moore if he gets absolutely decapitated again. Austin, we're back to the Falcons. Obviously, you had a big time 2018, kind of 2019 season where you had another big year there. Back to the Falcons. He'll be a solid blocking tight end for them. Patriots, he served that a lot last year. Again, it really is a short yardage guy as well. Again, in terms of that, as a pass catcher. But again, I really like the sign for the Falcons. Solid backup tight end. What else are you going to really ask? Very good combo there with Kyle Pitts. Kenneth Gainwell to the Bucks. Sneaky season last year. I think he actually he was close to leading the Steelers in receptions last year. The Bucks really do need a guy that's going to kind of complement Bucky Irving in a way, even though he's obviously not a power back. Again, similar run plan to the fact that they don't really need to, again, schematically completely deviate with those two. But, again, Bucky's not a guy you want to consistently getting the ball to out of the backfield just in terms of actual usage. So the fact that Kenneth Gainwell can do that at a high level, I think is huge for this offense. Just adds a lot more versatility to it. Also, very team-friendly contract as well. For backup, though, really like this move. Alex Anzalone to the Bucks. He obviously has had he's had his issues over the really last year. Again, he's been a really solid to, again, really good a great linebacker times, again, over his career. This is definitely a move for the Bucks that will be an answer to kind of, I wouldn't say, like, take a little bit off of Lavonte David, but he definitely saw points last year. Lavonte David, again, started chipping away at him in terms of, again, how much he's, again, really asked to do. I'm not going to act like Alex Anzalone didn't have the worst year of his career last year, but this is at least something of note to, again, for them to try to fix the problem that they haven't had really a second guy at linebacker for a really long time. Kobe Bryant to the Bears, big time deal. Kobe Bryant's a really fun guy to watch really on tape because he just anticipates so well. But again, you look at this Bears team and what's going to be going on with them. They need a little bit more depth, especially since I think Nation Wright left, something like that. So again, this is definitely a guy that can help that out. Amik Robertson, not really much to talk about here. Again, he was with the Lions. He struggled with injury all his time there. Again, when he did play, it wasn't always great either. Commanders, though, they haven't had a good corner in who knows how long. And obviously Marshall Lattimore there, but I like that move for them. I couldn't care less about Cade Mays to the Lions. Again, he was pretty bad last year overall. And I'm joking. I don't know too many opinions on Cade Mays. He's not a great run blocker. His pass blocking is really based on the fact that he has, again, 2 really solid guards next to him. But honestly, guys, Cade Mays for me is just kind of there, to be honest with you. But for the Lions, then you got to replace Frank Ragnow. Again, he'll do a decent job. Joseph Osai to the Jets on a $36 million contract. I hate this signing. Joseph Osai has been okay, really, over the past few years, but prior to that, he was abysmal to watch. He does provide some explosiveness and a little bit of run defense for versatility for this Jets team, but overall, guys, this signing won't make much of a difference. Probably one of the other bigger signings here, Raiders, who spent a lot of money in free agency, went out and got Tyler Linderbaum on a 3-year, $81 million deal with $60 guaranteed. He's going to be a star player for them. I mean, again, it doesn't really take anyone else to say that. It's really hard to get some good centers in football. The fact that he is one of those guys is the reason they got him. They now have 3 offensive linemen that I really think could be really good next year. But again, they still have holes to fill for this Raiders team. At least they're trying to make themselves better. That's what I'll say there. Cardinals get Tyler Algier. I really like this move. This is like contacting the Jeremiah Love thing. Probably not going to happen. Tyler Algier honestly should be their number 1 back next year. Again, he really's never had a shot at starting. Again, Cardinals addressing, again, a huge need from the last year with this move. Travis Etienne to the Saints. Oh, this is an amazing deal. Is Alvin Kamara still on the team? What are we looking at? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's either gonna get traded or dumped. Because, I mean, I'm not saying Travis Etienne's a really good running back, but last year was a huge bounce back after 2 really rough I guess he was okay in 2023, but 2024 he was like, really just abysmal. So last year, it was really fun to watch him play and again just be a really solid, consistent producer for that team, despite having again a monster week and then kind of not just doing a lot. But still, for the Saints, he's going to be a starting running back for them. They haven't really had again looking how bad Alvin Kamara was last year. This is a move for them. And honestly, in terms of again a pure rusher, again Alvin Kamara's never really been a guy you look at as again a 1,000-yard rusher. He's never ran for one that in his career. I'm not going to say that Travis Etienne would be a guy you want to consistently give that load to, but if you're talking about a carry balance, he's definitely a guy that could definitely again make the running game a little more threatening than it's really been in a long time. Now on to Wan'Dale Robinson to the Titans. He got a big time deal, I think, right? They need a guy who's going to produce for them a receiver. They still don't really have the next guy, which I really think was what they should have done. But this deal, I think, is overall, yeah, it's a little pricey for a slot receiver, but he's going to give them something, which is they have not had for a while. Where could go? Jalen Nailor, he got a $35 million deal. Love this for the Raiders. You look at the receiving core still, it's not fun to look at. Yeah, there we go. Jalen Nailor's the only guy in here that I really think is anything decent. They didn't really truly address the position, but at least they got someone in there that, again, has been proven to be a consistent number 3 at times. But, again, he hasn't had over 600 yards in his career yet. Again, albeit on the Vikings. So, like, what are you going to do there? Especially with not having great quarterback play overall. David Edwards to the Saints. $15 million. Yeah, makes sense. He's been average to a little above average for the Bills. I think the Saints are getting him because he will be a guy that will be consistent for them in pass pro, which is something they haven't really, again, on a consistent basis, again, especially the past few years. Mike Evans to the Niners on a 3-year deal. This is, I think, it was reasonably priced, if I'm not mistaken. Niners, I guess, get their number 1 guy. Again, that's a big guess there because, like, Brandon Ayuk, he's not going to play for them next year. Who knows what's going to happen with him? Mike Evans, I again really think it's like this. This is how he is. He's like up here. He's like super consistent. Obviously, he has the record for most 1,000-yard seasons at the beginning of career, and it's gonna be like that. I see his career going downhill in terms of his performance. But I mean, if you're the Niners, you're like, if you like what's up, I guess you make this move. But again, I'm a little uncomfortable with this one. But still, they needed something there. Jamel Dean to the Steelers, 36-7-5. I'm shocked he got this low of a contract. He's one of the better cornerbacks in football, very underrated. Again, I think the stats from him definitely don't tell the story at all on tape, though. He shows, again, at times he can be a really, really good player. The inconsistency, though, I can kind of see where this contract went. But yeah, Steelers, great move there. He will be a guy that will be very valuable for your defense. Again, Kenneth Walker, AI picture there. Devin Bush to the Bears. I could care less. He's definitely revived his career in a fantastic year with the Seahawks, but I'll be interested to see how he can play with the Bears. But yeah, that's a big time deal for them, especially with Tremaine Edwards being gone. John Dotson, the Falcons. Again, he had a pretty promising rookie season. What was it, 2022? 2023, he was, I guess, okay. And then last year, he just didn't play. And then this year, he just didn't play for the Eagles. And they just didn't play through receivers for whatever reason. He just didn't get targeted. But yeah, Falcons, I guess he could be their number 2. That's definitely something that could be definitely happen there. Zion Johnson to the Browns. He was, I think, really dogged in last year in terms of PFF's grades there. On tape, it really wasn't as bad. He definitely created some from when they were able to run the ball. And as a pass pro, in terms of pass pro, when he was on double teams, he was very, very effective. And again, overall, he's got power, which is, again, what you need to see out of him. So for the Browns, I think this is definitely a worthwhile move. But at the same time, he can't be, again, the focus of your offensive line if you want to win games. John Flecker-Myers to the Titans. Physical 3 tech there. He definitely is falling off in terms of performance. I don't think we're ever going to get back to that 2021 form of him. But again, 2022, 2023 wasn't great. Past 2 years, he's been a lot more productive. But it'll be interesting to see if he can be, again, a guy that can really work well as a Robin to Jeffrey Simmons there. Charlie Kohler, cool. Tremaine Edmonds, this is a big deal. 3 years, 36 to the Giants. He is definitely the same guy he was in terms of his athleticism and explosiveness, really just honestly 5 years ago. You definitely saw a drop-off performance last year with the Bears, and just the overall, again, mistakes that he's made throughout his career, I think are going to come back to bite him a little bit more. So for the Giants, I don't love that deal in terms of the trend of this, but he's still a guy that has been a starting caliber player for a really long time. Cordell Flat, the Titans, they gave him 3 years, $45 million. He has been the only guy worth the damn in terms of, again, we look at that Giants secondary for a really long time now, and even then, he still has had his issues. I think he's a solid player, but definitely not worth his contract. I guess he kind of deserves it. What the hell? Oh yeah, Brian Cook, my bad. He's a good player. Yeah, I guess. He's had good years with the Chiefs. Nothing really too stand out. But again, he makes plays. Jacob Dobbins back to the Broncos. That's a good for both sides there. Alontae Taylor to the Titans. They will, I'm telling you, they will put him in press every single snap. Robert Saleh loves this guy. This is probably, I'm talking about one of the best contracts. I mean, 20 years is a little insane. But this is a great fit. I think he could be in line for a Pro Bowl season next year. Again, if we're talking about like truly a Pro Bowl guy. Mariota back to the Commanders. You couldn't ask for, again, better fit there either. Again, he was good for them last year. Odafe Oweh, 4 years, $100 million to the Commanders. This is the move the Commanders made to say, we want an effective defense, and an effective defense you will, in fact, be getting. That's all I'll say. He is a guy that could be great, but he really hasn't put it all together yet. That's what I'll say there. Boyle Moffitt to the Bengals. He's been an effective passer throughout his 4 years career. I think he's been hot and cold at times, but overall, he'll be a solid guy for them. Obviously, will not be replacing Trey Henderson. Two of the Falcons on a 1-year deal, and this just doesn't make sense. I guess you want lefty quarterbacks. I don't know what's going to go on with that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, definitely one of the more interesting developments here. But yeah, he will be a Atlanta Falcon next year. Again, not really much else for me to say there. Again, if you're looking for that, it's not the place for that. Yeah, Gardner Minshew Cardinals back quarterback. Good signing. Laramie Tunsil back to the Commanders. Again, nothing was really going to change there. They needed that franchise guy, and he is that. Big time deal though. Raiders get a 1-year deal with what the hell? Well, how much was the money? How much did he get paid? Kwity Paye, he's not, in my opinion, a guy that's, again, worthwhile at starting on a consistent basis. You might think, what am I talking about? He's a good run defender. I'll give you guys that. Kwity Paye is a good run defender in the NFL. But, 3 years, 48. He's just not giving you anything close to what you need to do as a pass rusher. Obviously, he had, 2 8-sack seasons in there in his first 4 years. But last season was the worst year of his career. And he's just not an NFL starting caliber pass rusher in my opinion. That's just it's again for a guy who's a first round pick too for the Colts. It's just not really worthwhile giving him this sort of money. But they did brutally need edge rusher there because again, as bad as unimpressive as Kwity Paye is, he's still better than Tyree Wilson and Malcolm Koonce. You can't stay on the field. So again, Max Crosby can't be the only guy here for the next 5 years. You got to do something there, and he's still young too. Dre Greenlaw, he didn't really play a lot last year. He's one of the more talented linebackers in football. Broncos, it didn't really work out with them there. I don't really know why they cut him specifically, but, I mean, in terms of the contract, it does make sense. Noah Fant to the Saints on a 2-year deal. He'll be an interesting guy to see how, again, works out in that tight end room that is pretty deep. Nakobe Dean to the Raiders on a 3-year, $36 million deal. I don't think it'd be a true difference maker for them, but in terms of a coverage linebacker, they haven't had a guy like this in a long time. So it'd be interesting to see how that happens with them. Could fit. Another Raiders signing, Quay Walker. I like that duo. Quay Walker still hasn't really proven himself as a starting caliber player overall, but he's still consistent against the run, which is huge. And obviously, Nakobe Dean won't be fitting the run as stressfully, which again is pretty important in terms of, again, we're talking about, again, an overall defense. Rashid Shaheed back to the Seahawks, not too surprising there. Kenny Pickett will be the Panthers backup next season. Reed Blankenship, that's a good year. Ooh, Texans. Reed Blankenship, I will say last year a little bit fall off in his play, but I don't really know who allowed this to happen. Kendrick Bourne to the Cardinals. Yeah, cool move. We'll skip through. Oh, this is a big year. Yeah. Devin Lloyd of the Panthers. This is going to be a big-time deal. Devin Lloyd, I just don't think... It's a little bit ambiguous with him just because of the fact that he isn't a, like, we'll say, a reliable player is probably the best way to put it. He makes a lot of plays. I think it's overly hated. But a lot of things we saw with him as a prospect have come true in terms of the positives. The negatives, though, have never really disappeared. They've just been minimized to a point in terms of a team playing to his strength where it's still not that much of an issue. So, look at the Panthers, what they're going to be doing on defense next year. I assume it'll be in a place where Devin Lloyd won't be put in these kind of middle or mofo where, again, you got two high safeties. You ask him to drop 10 yards back, open field slant, he's going to miss the tackle. I don't think they're going to be putting him in those situations. So, for that reason, I like this contract. I'm shocked they only ended up getting 15 per year. But considering last year, despite him making all those plays, the tape wasn't pretty. I can see where that comes in there. Rico Dowdle of the Steelers, yeah, that's a big-time deal. They have a starting running back. What else am I going to say? Rico Dowdle, I still don't think is a great player. I think that the running back, or the offensive line for the Panthers did a really good job for him last year. But in terms of the Steelers' offense, I think he actually fits even better with them. I just don't know if he's a true starting running back, to be honest with you guys. Because, again, as good as he was last year, the year before running for 1,000 yards, he is a very streaky running back. And when you don't have those games where he's giving you guys 100 yards, it's kind of hard to justify playing him. I'm not going to go to a huge extreme here. Right before the season starts next year, again, it's a long time away. We talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, and again, his tier rank. The one thing I'll always critique him about is he can't pass block. If he has a bad game and he shuts down, you can't play him. Similar with Rico Dowdle, obviously different reasons, but again, similar kind of end result there. Elijah Gimlin to the Chiefs on a team-friendly deal. You can't complain about this. I don't think he was completely solved the Ravens secondary problems last year, but again, electric in 2023, 2024 kind of wasn't great. Last year overall, really solid, reliable player. He'll be a guy I think potentially could be a Pro Bowl caliber free safety for them next year. Tyquan Thornton, back to the Chiefs as a big play receiver. Not really much else to talk about them. Good signing back. Or good returning there. Elijah Tucker can't stay in the field. Patriots don't need to upgrade their offensive line. This guy will give you competent level play if he is playing. So again, I'm definitely willing to take that risk if you're the Patriots. Solid signing there. What else do we got? Greg Newsome to the Giants. He's not a starting caliber corner, but I mean, do what you want to, I guess. Dawson Knox back to the Bills on a 3-year deal. Cool. He's again good third option there in that offense. Quincy Williams to the Browns. I forgot he was a free agent. But yeah, Quincy Williams, he will be definitely a starter for them. He again last year really struggled overall just because of the fact that again Jamin Sherwood obviously wasn't awesome. Not Emmanuel Mosley. CJ Mosley was gone. But for a guy, he really 2023, 2024 was one of the best linebackers in football. Last year definitely fell off a little bit in that team. Lions get Isaiah Pacheco for their backup. Really like that deal. Definitely a chance from there again. Kind of revive his career. Kyrie Fairbairn, 2 years, $13 million to be back to the Texans. Not too surprising there. He's one of the better kickers in football. Braden Smith, he'll be the Texans starting tackle next year if I had to guess. Problem with Braden Smith, he's really not even healthy. He's also older, and really his overall pass protection has declined, which has been really his marquee attraction for a lot of teams. But still will be a solid player for that offensive line for that Texans team that sorely needs him. Raiders, they did trade for Geno Smith, a 6th-round pick. I mean, guys, and this just, again, gets even better every day, guys, with these Jets. Like, what else am I going to say? Oh, yeah, huge deal here. Romeo Doubs, 4 years, $80 million to the Patriots. He will be their starting #1 receiver next year, again, barring anything crazy. I don't love that, but, again, the Patriots managed last year. Again, they got to get someone else in there. That's all I'll say on that, though. But really good move for them. He fits really well in that offense. Doesn't know is Nahshon Wright. He's definitely a good playmaker, guys, but he's just not a starting caliber corner on a consistent basis. He played a lot with the Bears last year, did a lot of good things. He's definitely a flashy player. But in that Jets defense, I don't think, again, especially with Minkah there in the secondary, I don't think he'll be in a position where he can consistently take those risks. And when he's not taking those risks, he's going to get beat just in general because that's how he is. He's just not that high level of a player. And again, I don't love this fit. But at the same time, they didn't really pay a lot for him. Elgton Jenkins, again, just got caught by the Packers. Hasn't been able to stay healthy in a long time. Again, he's a very versatile player because of the fact that he can, again, really manipulate leverage so well. That's his biggest tool. Going over to the Browns, though, that is another big deal for them. I like what the Browns are doing on the offensive line. This is definitely a solid move for them, despite the fact that, again, he can't stay healthy. That's, again, the big asterisk there. Kane Ellis to the Falcons, or to the Saints. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah. He's a beast. Is he a good player? Debatable, but he's definitely a beast. Rick Williams will be the best quarterback in football next year. Again, I just... Oof, look out, guys. That's all I got to say. Obviously, he's an absolute moron, but he's got all the talent in the world. Teddy Bridgewater, now to be the Lions' backup. Cool. Commanders get Leo Chanel on a really team-friendly deal. He definitely didn't have a good second half last year. This is why this contract kind of tanked. But he's obviously, again, very valuable player in a lot of ways. Cam Hayward back to the Saints. The Steelers on a 2-year, $32.5 million deal. They gave him his money. Again, this is really just kind of you knew he was going to be there anyway. Patrick Ricard is going to be the Giants fullback next year. That'll be interesting to see how they mold him with Cam Scatterbo. That'd be a really interesting backfield. Just tell you that right now. Logan Hall of the Texans. He's been again consistent. Again, really just overall well-rounded defensive lineman there. It'll be interesting to see how they use him because again, in terms of that versatility, I don't really know if he really exactly fits in that D line. But again, it's definitely a move that they could definitely add some versatility with. Cowboys get Sam Howell to be their backup. I mean. He's definitely an interesting dude. Trey Anderson, this is obviously the big deal I was reacting to in the intro. 4 years, 112. Yeah. In my opinion, for the Ravens, I think, yes, Max Crosby being, I guess, a year or so over. They're a very similar age. Again, they didn't have to give up 2 first-round picks. That's the one thing I'll say here with Trey Anderson. Also, in division, really good move in that sense. The Ravens needed someone on that defensive side of the ball to be an elite player outside of Kyle Hamilton. And again, you can't really argue that Trey Anderson can't be that guy. Again, I understand the injury, but the previous 2 years, guys, 2021, 2020, again, he's just put up absolutely absurd sack numbers. The tape tells you guys how good he is. Again, you can't really deny this. I think the money might be a little bit too much, but again, obviously the Max Crosby thing is bizarre. But at the end of the day, they still got their elite edge rusher. So, I mean, take with that what you will. Is he as good as Max Crosby? I don't think so, but still. Daniel Jones, 2 years, $88 million. I mean, guys, this is like a Kirk Cousins sort of thing. If he goes out and stinks next year, I mean, bro, he's just a generational bag getter. I don't think that'll end up happening because he was way better this year than he was in 2022. But yeah, bro, just gets his back, especially coming off the Achilles, bro. Are you kidding me? Well, do we get anything else here? Oh yeah, Kevin Byard, 1 year, $9 million to the Patriots. He's an old guy. I think a lot of his numbers were inflated last year, but he had the best year he had since 2021. So I can give him his props there. Aaron Jones. Back to the Vikings. He will return to be probably their 3rd string running back. I don't know, guys. Aaron Jones is cooked. Commanders get Chig Okonkwo on a 3-year deal. I think that was actually a decent amount of money. I don't really know how he made that much, but he has been a starting caliber tight end for a couple of years now with the Titans. So good thing he stuck around. Good for the Commanders to get a guy that can be a little bit more reliable there at the position. Jake Tanya is back to the Niners. He obviously had that big Week 1 game last year. Yeah, again, we have all this. Yeah, oh yeah, DJ Moore, obviously we had that trade too. He'll be a starting caliber guy. Obviously be a solid receiver for them. New trade. Bradley Chubb, 3 years, $43.5 to the Bills. Interesting deal because I think he will be sort of the exact same role Joey Bosa did last year. Obviously different players, but I'm expecting the same outcome there. Obviously Bradley Chubb, a guy that hasn't really been able to stay healthy at all the past 2 seasons. Yeah, honestly. Or even 2023, right? Towards Achilles ACL that year. Last year, I guess he was somewhat healthy, but 2022, he's a really good player. 2021, obviously, with the Broncos before he get traded, and obviously the trade and all that. But Bradley Chubb's a solid player, guys. You're gonna get good things out of him, even though he's a little bit older now. Keep moving up. Oh yeah, Javon Hargrave, Packers 2 years, $23 million. He has just not been a useful player the past years. Again, overall last year on tape, he still got his pass rush, but again, ever since really, again, that last year with the Niners, even then, again, he's abysmal against the run, so you don't get so much with that. But as a pass rusher, definitely a higher end guy. I wouldn't say has been as, again, it's just, I guess this is the deal, but you're going to pay for pass rushing at this position, but again, only so much with that. Evan DeHill, oh god, bro. Yeah, oh, this is a big deal. Osa to the Niners for a 3rd round pick. I don't love this deal for the Rams. Osa's a guy that consistently affects the run at a high level. I don't know what they were trying to do with him as a pass rusher. Last year kind of broke his run fit rhythm throughout the season. But, yeah, he's going to be an issue in the NFC West there. Solomon Thomas to the Titans. Last year, I mean, I guess he had a good year. Pass rush consistency was for sure there. But, I mean, like, he's been, like, kind of the same player ever since he went to the Jets. Charles Omenihu to the Commanders. That's a nice deal. He'll be a solid rotational guy for them. At times, he can really take over games. Again, that's probably his biggest X factor there. But it's few and far between with that. What else we got? Jonathan Allen, I think this is the most recent deal. He's going to the Bengals on a 2-year max $28 million deal. He's definitely fallen off a little bit. Last year, the Vikings wasn't really that much of an impressive season. But again, you look at all those years, consistent years he had with the Commanders. Expect more of the same there for those Bengals. And I think that's about it. Do we have anything else? Oh, yeah. Rashad White, he's going to the Commanders. He'll be their backup. Dre Greenlaw, 1-year deal back to the Niners. I think this will be a steal for them. I'm kind of pissed that he went back there, but he's obviously had a phenomenal career in a lot of ways in terms of his performance. But again, injuries and all that, and also wasn't technically the same last year. Emmanuel Wilson will be the Seahawks backup. Definitely downgrade, but I mean it's something. Oh damn. Yeah. There's your most authentic reaction here. I did not see this coming. Oh, obviously saw it coming. Vikings have a new starting quarterback in Kyler Murray. Again, if Kyler Murray doesn't beat out JJ McCarthy, I mean like that's all I'll say on this. Kyler Murray to the Vikings. That is a very fun situation to talk about. And I'm gonna stress it a lot to you guys throughout this. Kyler Murray has not been a bad quarterback in the NFL. Last year, again, his numbers they're kind of irrelevant. He's not a bad quarterback. His mobility is elite at the quarterback position. There's no denying that. 2023 or 2024, he was a statistically above average quarterback. On tape, a lot of mind-numbing things, but he still gives you high-end moments. Again, there's a ceiling with quarterbacks, and he has the highest ceiling of any of these quarterbacks that possibly you could get this offseason. It's just the truth there. I really like this move a lot. But I will say, Kyler, again, on tape, it's infuriating watching him just miss a wide open guy over the middle because he can't see. Anyways, though, Senior Gardner-Johnson to the Bills. I mean, he's like moves around like he's definitely gotten ran through there. Anyways, though, on that note, and Kyler now being with JJ, yeah, those are my reactions to free agency at this point. I definitely giving you guys tidbits if anything crazy happens over the next couple days. But yeah, we have our post free agency mock drafts come out on Saturday, which definitely have something to do with this. But yeah, Kyler to the Vikings, big time deal there. So I have for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed these reactions. It was pretty decent long here, but yeah, see ya for the mock draft on Saturday.
3 seconds left. Fire to 3.